Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kadamahyam Dadati Swakarantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vidantam Sajivam Sadavaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Dadita Shri Vishakhanvitanscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gaurtushe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Mancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Padita Nam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Thank you so much for joining with us in day 4 of ISKCON Disciple Course. I hope you are learning from the course some practical things for your spiritual progress and also understanding the philosophy of Guru Tattva nicely. We have so far covered 6 lessons in this course. We started with discussing about different types of gurus, what is Guru Tattva, taking shelter of Srila Prabhupada, taking shelter of a Diksha Guru, selection of Guru, how do you select the Guru, on what basis do you select the Guru, right? There are so many qualified Gurus in ISKCON and one can choose any one of them depending on how nicely you are getting connected and you can feel that, yes, I can hand over my life to this particular person because this person is qualified to take me back home, back to Godhead. And we discussed about many misconceptions that people may have in their understanding about Guru Tattva and how do they approach their relationship with the spiritual master. Today, we'll try to cover 3 lessons, lessons 7, 8, 9, initiation vows, Guru Puja and Guru Seva. Okay. So, initiation, the word initiation in Sanskrit is called Diksha. We have discussed this before. Diksha is made up of 2 Sanskrit words, Diyate, Shriyate. Diyate means on the day of initiation, something is given. Shriyate means on the day of initiation, something is taken away, right? Someone remembers what is taken away on the day of initiation? We discussed about it. What does the spiritual master take away from the from the disciple on the day of initiation? Pankaj Maurya Prabhu.
Prabhuji, sin, the karma that are obstacle.
Yes. Does it take away all the sinful reactions? No. Only that much which creates an obstacle. That much it takes away, right? And Diyate, what does it give on the day of initiation? Anyone else would like to answer? What does the spiritual master give on the day of initiation? Yes, Renu Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. The spiritual master on the day of initiation gives us the Guru Mantra.
Gives
right?
us,
that is one.
That is not Guru Mantra, gives us the
mantra,
right? Nama Mantra. Yeah.
That is one. Okay, apart from that, he gives us the instructions. He actually officially connects us to the Guru Parampara.
Fine. So he gives us many things, like he gives us the name, he gives us the beads, he gives us, beads to wear in the neck, beads to chant, he gives us a new name, he gives us some instructions. You chant these many rounds every day. You follow 4 regulative principles. And basically, he gives us transcendental knowledge. Now, if you look at the definition of Diksha, as I explained before, Diksha is not a one-day event. The day someone accepts a particular person as his or her spiritual master, from that day, initiation has started. The process of Diksha has begun. On one particular day when Diksha happens, that is just an official ceremony. So it's a lifelong process. When will I or someone be called as a disciple? The day when one has 100% surrendered oneself, that is called disciple. Before that, I am just a disciple in practice. I am taking training, right? I am not yet become perfect. So Diksha is a lifelong event. It's not just a one-day thing. So here on the day of Diksha, one is supposed to take some vows. We are going to discuss that today. Lesson number 7. I'll share the screen. Beautiful picture of Srila Prabhupada holding a rose flower. So initiation vows. On the day of initiation, we take some. Now an exercise, you just have to list out. You can either put it in the chat box or you can raise your hand to contribute to this question. What are some of the important qualities of a disciple? You can put it in the chat box or you can put it, you can raise your hand and contribute. Submissiveness, yes. Free from false ego, dedication, very good. Humble, surrender, truthful, yeah. What else? Only 5 qualities? No more? Progressive, as much as she can, completely involved in devotional service, follow the instructions, inquisitive, yeah, following Guru's instructions. Namanta Krishna Prabhu.
Yeah, Prabhuji, students should have the enthusiasm to follow the...
Okay, enthusiasm, commitment, servitude, trust, devoted, sincere. Okay, okay, good, fine, thank you. So these all qualities should be there. It should be committed, honest, loyal, should live a life of purity. So in regards to that, during the time of initiation, the spiritual master will tell us, will ask us to follow 2 things primarily. One is daily chant minimum 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, 16 good rounds of Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Now I hope you know the background of this, that this 16 rounds is the law which was made by Srila Prabhupada. 16 rounds, right? In Gaudiya Math, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he kept it to 64 rounds, not 16 rounds. But Prabhupada reduced it to 16, understanding that people of modern times cannot so much extend themselves to chanting 64 rounds daily. So there is one. And the other is, one is asked to follow 4 regulative principles strictly throughout one's life. I am sure you all know about 4 regulative principles, right? No meat eating, no intoxication, no illicit sex, no gambling. These 4 regulative principles are associated with 4 pillars of religion. If you don't follow, my voice is cracking, my sound is low. Is it so for everyone or is it for some of you?
Clearly audible, Prabhuji.
Audible, no?
Audible, Prabhu.
So then please check your internet connection if you are finding some difficulty. So here you can look at the associated qualities. It's given in Srimad Bhagavatam in a verse, Canto 1, chapter 17, verse number 24. That these are 4 qualities which act as 4 pillars of dharma, religion. The more we practice these qualities, the more will be called dharmic or religious. Which are those 4 qualities? Daya, mercy; tapaha, austerity; saucham, cleanliness; satyam, truthfulness. So when a person engages in these 4 wrong activities, that person is breaking these pillars of religion. Like meat eating goes against mercy. How can one be merciful if that person is killing animals and eating them up? right? So there are many other things that also come into that, like eating eggs, eating fish, that is also wrong, or taking onion and garlic, that is also considered wrong. It's a kind of intoxication in one sense, or it's tamasic food. Then intoxication is breaking the principle of austerity. How does taking intoxication breaks the principle of austerity? Anyone would like to say something about it? How if someone drinks alcohol, smokes cigarette, eats tobacco, it is breaking the principle of austerity? Aruna Mataji.
Prabhuji, when someone is taking any intoxication, that means that person's mind is not stable. That person wants some source of gratification, and that person's mind is not in control. His mind is not in his control. So that's why that person is taking the form of needs something for to feel happy or to feel good.
So how is it breaking the principle of tapasya or austerity?
Tapasya means the very fact of austerity means one should have control over one's senses. So when one is going into any form of intoxication means we are slave of our senses. We don't have control.
Fine. So then meat eating is also slave of one's senses, no? Meat eating is also slave of one's senses. Then other regulative principles also are a slave of one's senses only. Why in particular intoxication is related to austerity? Milind Prabhu, any thoughts on that?
So basically, I think intoxication means you are allowing to the senses are actually satisfied. You are satisfying the senses. That's one part. But at the same time, the senses. See, when you're doing intoxication, you are actually reducing your ability to grasp things, or you're.
That's fine. I'm asking, well, how is it breaking the principle of austerity? Gratification comes in all the four things. So how is it breaking austerity? So the point is, you see, austerity means what? Voluntarily accepting pain for purification. Intoxication means escaping the reality of life because the life is painful. You want to forget that life is painful. So you take an intoxicant and then you go into a state of consciousness that life is all good. So you're not ready to face the difficulties, the struggles, the pains of life, which is against the principle of austerity. Austerity means you voluntarily accept pains in life for spiritual development. And intoxication puts you into an illusion that there is no problem, right? Life is all fine, right? So that's why. Okay. Then illicit sex, it breaks the principle of cleanliness. Which kind of cleanliness? Cleanliness of heart. It makes the heart impure because one is thinking of relationships in a wrong manner. So it makes the heart very polluted. And fourth, gambling. It breaks the principle of truthfulness, right? Gambling means you cheat. You earn money by not really working hard for it, trying on your luck, cheat. So it breaks the principle of truthfulness, not putting sufficient efforts and desiring to get much more in return. That's gambling. So how a person is called religious or how much a person is religious depends on, in my day-to-day life, how much do I maintain these four qualities in practice: daya, tapaha, saucham, and satyam. So in initiation, these vows are asked to be followed. Following initiation vows, someone can kindly read. Okay, Pankaj Prabhu. Unmute Prabhuji.
Following initiation vows, it is not very difficult to follow the four regulative principles. These things should be stopped if you will want to be serious. Otherwise, make a fast and do not whatever you like, and do whatever you like. I cannot give you protection. This is not possible. So you must have to follow these rules and regulation if you are serious. Then take initiation. Otherwise, don't make fast. Don't make fast. That is my request. Lecture Srimad Bhagavatam 1.16.35, Hawaii, January 28, 1974. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So here Srila Prabhupada is saying that these wrong things should be stopped. Otherwise, making a fast and do whatever you like. I cannot give you protection. That is not possible. So you have to follow these rules and regulations. If you are serious, then take initiation, otherwise not. Now, what happens if someone is not following them and just jumps into taking initiation? Then, as we discussed before, if one continues to do wrong things, then the reaction will also go, a part of reaction will also go to the spiritual master, right? So that's why one has to be serious about it. Second thing, we should know one thing. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, chapter 7, verse number 28, Yesham tu antagatam papam jananam punya karmanam te dvanda moha nirmukta bhajante mam dirvatah. He says, if one engages in wrong activities, the determination to practice bhakti will never become strong in one's heart. It will not happen. It's just like, you're trying to burn a wood, firewood, and at the same time putting water on it. The fire will never take place. So these don'ts are very important. And when you follow these don'ts, then chanting of Hare Krishna is very, very effective in purifying the heart. And when we don't follow these don'ts, then it becomes very slow process. The progress is very slow. The growth is very slow. However, we'll discuss in detail how to practically come to the stage of strictly following them. Okay, we are just now discussing the importance. Someone else can read this.
My advice is always chant 16 rounds minimum and follow the 4 regulative principles. All of my disciples must agree on this point, otherwise they are not my disciples. My disciples must follow these principles, living either in heaven or hell.
Thank you. So Srila Prabhupada he has a very unique style of writing. He says, all of my disciples should follow whether they are living in hell or heaven. What it means is that if your life is hellish, still follow. If you are enjoying your life very much, still follow. Good days, bad days, any kind of situation in life, try to follow these principles strictly. Not that, okay, I'm in a particular situation where everyone around me is breaking these principles, so I should also break. No, in whatever situation you are, you try to follow them sincerely. Someone else can read this, please.
If still you are unable to fulfill the promise to your spiritual master, then what is the use of calling yourself devotee and disciple? That is simply pretending. So you should think like this, that I have promised my spiritual master this. Now I must obey him without any exception. Otherwise, I have no business calling myself his disciple. That will be your austerity or tapasya for forcing you to make very rapid advancement in Krishna consciousness understanding. Without tapasya, there is no question of making advancement.
So the lesson or message which we are getting is, spiritual life doesn't come free of cost. One has to pay, right? And following these vows is the price that one is paying, sacrificing one's tendency to break the laws made by God. That is the price one has to pay. So now what we do is that we will have a group work. I'll divide it into groups where what you can do is you can discuss the challenges that people may face in following these principles very strictly. And then what are the solutions to that? Okay, so you may be following these principles, but then let's say you are trying to help someone who is just new to Krishna consciousness and is having really, really hard time following these principles, maybe because of past bad sanskars, bad habits, or the environment is not supportive, right? Let's say someone says, I am a chef and I have to work in a hotel and I have to cook non-veg food and then feed people non-veg food. Sometimes I have to taste that also because I am the chef. So in those situations, how will you guide that person to come to this point of strictly following the principles? You got the question? Yes. Discuss the challenges in following these 4 principles and how will you provide practical solutions to that person. Everyone okay? So we will make 5 groups. And you can discuss this for 8 minutes. After that, you can present. Choose a group leader from each group. So there should not be more than 5 group leaders. And you can present on this topic. Making 5 rooms. Request everyone to participate, even those who have their video cameras off. Kindly participate in the group discussion. We give you 8 minutes. All right. Please join. Okay, so I hope you had a fruitful discussion and you got some good points. Who are the group leaders? I can see hands up. Pankaj Prabhu, Mahesh Prabhu, Annapurna Mataji. 2 more groups remaining. Okay, Vijay Narayan Prabhu. And one more last group. Who is representing the last group? Aruna Mataji. Okay, let's start with Pankaj Prabhu. Just give me one problem and then one solution. One situation and one solution.
Okay, Prabhuji, first we already discussed as family. Second one, we will go with the society, our neighbors, and where we work. Because of this, our discretion might we not be accepted in the society, in a friend circle, in a neighborhood.
Okay.
And the solution is for this, we have to discreet them. We have to go and get engaged ourselves in more devotees line of these things.
So what is the problem exactly? I mean, for 8 minutes, you just discussed this much?
No, Prabhuji. We have discussed 3 points.
Okay.
So if we want,
yeah, give me an exact, like a specific problem and then a solution.
Yeah, another one we discussed, professional demands means where the person has to be engaged in this kind of business, where he has to sell and taste those things. So it's a very challenging for him to be go with this. So in this situation, he can pray for the Krishna's mercy and his continue his devotion.
Continuous devotion while breaking the principles?
No, Prabhuji, he can pray because for the opportunity the Lord will give him to switch and get into the another profession.
Go to another job. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Fine. Thank you. Annapurna Mataji. You have to unmute yourself, please.
Prabhuji, we discussed many points. One of the thing is if a person is in a situation where the person is not able to chant at home, or there is some restrictions to the person to do chanting, so that person can, like, we would suggest the person to go for outside, go for a walk and do chanting while walking. And so in that way the family members may not know it, and they can do walking and also do the chanting. And in one case, I don't know if it's right or wrong. If suppose a girl is married to a non-devotee family somehow, and the person is, she is not able to follow the no onion garlic principle.
Hmm.
So, and she wants to offer prasadam to the Lord.
Hmm.
So that person can offer fruits and maybe sprinkle the nuts in other foodstuffs so that we can eat it prasadam. But though the onion garlic principle is breaking, I'm not able to suggest what we can do.
Fine. So you spoke about chanting. One is not able to chant because of family not happy about it. So you can chant outside the house, or you can get up really early in the morning before everyone is up, and then you can chant and complete the rounds, right? Or you can find some time when people are not disturbing you. You can close yourself in the room and chant. That is possible. In case of onion garlic, very simple solution. You can cook onion garlic food for your family members, but you don't eat it for yourself. Make some separate arrangement. Like you don't put onion garlic in everything, right? Chapati, dals, rice. You put onion garlic in only certain preparations. So in those preparations, before you put onion garlic, you remove something for yourself, or you just let go that preparation. You don't eat that preparation. And in that way, you follow the principle, and your family members, you don't force them to follow. Simple. Isn't it? That's what we did when I was in my college days. We did not have a setup where we could cook food for ourselves. So we went to the hostel mess in charge, and we told him that you put onion garlic only at the end. Only at the end when you put tadka, that time you put onion garlic. So before you do that, just remove 2 bowls of vegetable curry for 2 of us. And then, you can mix onion garlic for the rest of the hostel boys. And they agreed to do that for us. So we just have to be a little smart if you want to follow the principles. It's possible. Mahesh Chandra Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes.
Prabhuji, challenges we face are, according to us, is 3 types. First is laziness, which comes in the mode of ignorance. Second is enjoying mentality, which comes in the mode of passion. And third is pride, which comes in the mode of goodness. And the solutions are to have a regulated sadhana, morning programs, and a regulated study and hearing of Sri Prabhupada books and lectures, and that of our spiritual master and that of our senior Vaishnavas.
Okay.
Second solution, we should make sure that we culturally make our surrounding very conducive for practicing Krishna consciousness at home, temples, as well as possible at our workplace.
Okay.
Third, we must have some shelter of Shiksha Guru and Diksha Guru, to whom we can reveal our confidence for our difficulties.
Okay.
And last, what I felt, we should diligently arrange positive and ongoing higher taste of Krishna consciousness.
All right, good points, Paul. Thank you. So this is what you discussed in the group with all your group members? Yeah? Or these are your individual points? Mahesh Prabhu? Unmute, please unmute.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
This was group discussion points or individual points?
Group discussion also and individual points.
Okay, fine. Vijay Narayan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So we have discussed the 4 things, Prabhuji. So first among that is like teasing issue, Prabhuji. So the person who are not devotees, we are just following the regulative principles or whatever the sadhanas which you are doing. We're just facing the teasing issues, Prabhuji. So for the challenges, we will just have a faith in the God Guru, and we can just face to the God to just give the courage to face those situations, and we can just respect them equally on the same time, and we can just do our sadhana in a nice manner to inspire them as well from setting our own examples actually. Okay. So that is the first point, Prabhuji. And the second is like due to the busy schedule, we could not able to chant the 16 rounds actually. So for that, what we have been discussed is like we can just cut down our rounds, like morning 4 rounds, evening 4 rounds, and means off lunch 4 rounds. Kind of, it is according to their own schedule. We can just make the plan, and we can just take up our 16 rounds at the end of the day. And the final point is like family members. So when we are just doing the sadhana, but family members is not convinced, so we can just explain them, making the presentation or how the important our spiritual lives to be. So this is how we can just do it.
Thank you. All right. And last, Aruna Matas.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, regarding the following the challenges we face in following the initiation vows is as for the chanting. I think so. What everyone has covered that. Now, rest about that meat eating. Now, what practical challenges we feel is when one person is following the regulative principle and he or she is in a family who are not doing that. They are eating meat or onion and garlic. In that case, initially, very nicely, we can explain to them. But if they are not ready to let go, then in that case, what we can do is we can make prasadam for Krishna, offer bhog to Krishna, and while making the prasadam, we can intensely pray to Krishna that this propensity of theirs is taken care of, and offer that prasadam to all the family members. So when we do it over a period of time, then intensely praying for them, because if we try to humbly, nicely explain them, but if they are not, then instead of creating a rift or dispute or friction in the family, this can be done practically, so that we pray to Krishna that this thing is changed. Another thing is when we may find when we go to relatives' house or association, so we have to be careful in where we are going. So very diplomatically, we can turn down those invitations from the places where we know, okay, here the food is not of, or whether the prasadam is not, like they are not serving the Krishna prasadam, or they are not serving, not exactly Krishna prasadam, but they are not serving sattvic food. Now, the next point is no intoxication. Now, if the same thing applies, Prabhuji, like if suppose one person is not drinking tea and coffee, but in his or her family, tea and coffee is, taken.
Yeah, I got the point. So
same thing. Yeah. And then comes the same thing. We choose an association. Then comes no illicit sex. In that case, our group was thinking that we need to give a value education to our youth from a right source, and this should be done in school and colleges and all that. And again, we have to tell them that association matters. Okay. And when it comes to no gambling, we may not do a gambling kind of a thing, but even indulging in stock market for greed of earning more money is also a form of gambling. So we can check ourselves and not get carried away.
All right, good points. Fine. So basically, challenges will always be there in following the principles. The challenges can be because of many reasons. One is personal weakness. One is personally very, very weak, had past bad habits, and is now struggling to come out of those bad habits, right? The other thing can be challenges because of the external surrounding, family pressure, peer pressure, or professional workplace environment is not conducive. So two ways, either it's an internal struggle or there is an external pressure. For internal struggle, it all lies in one's own hand. One has to become more serious devotee and try hard and hard till the day you are able to make it, right? One has to make it someday, so one cannot give up, one cannot become disappointed. One has to try and come to that point. By gradual Krishna consciousness, one can easily come to the point of following the four regulative principles nicely. When it comes to environment, then one has to be diplomatic, one has to be smart, one has to be conscious of people around you, and how either you can change them for better, or you can deal with them in a way that it doesn't affect your following the principles in a diplomatic and smart manner. So for that, what is good is sometimes we become very enthusiastic in imposing our principles on others. One should not do that. Stick to following the principles for yourself first, and not let them feel any way that you are trying to force them into something which they don't want to. If you make them feel so, then they'll start attacking in an emotionally, attacking mentally, and trying to create obstacles in our following the principles. So one has to be very diplomatic first, that first I need to start following the principles and become a good devotee. Then I can help them follow it better. So in that way, one has to deal, and one has to also give them some time to change. We cannot expect them to change overnight, right? So you give them a time. And when you see that it is not happening, even after 5, 10, 15 years of trying and you are not able to make things work, then you have to find another solution. Then you have to go for another solution. You have to speak to them openly about it, and you have to become more firm about it. You see, I am going to follow this, and you have to accept it. So even if that's required, one has to come to that point that we be very firm. We don't tell them that you have to be like me, you have to follow like me, but it's my life and I have a right to live the life in a particular manner. So then you express it to them in a firm manner, in a respectful manner. So this should be done. However, we should know now that we'll discuss more about personal challenges in following the regular principles. At present, what has happened is we are not talking about the old generation, but the younger generation. Because of wrong education system and because of wrong association that people come across in school and college and university, people get into very bad habits. And that's why it becomes a personal struggle to follow the 4 regulative principles strictly. It is a major challenge for the modern youths. In that case, there is no need to be disappointed about it, that, I can never follow them strictly. It is possible, but it may take time. It may take even a decade, to come to that stage. But there's no point in getting disappointed that I cannot ever do it. And there's no point in discouraging others also who are not able to do it. Rather, we should always give them the supporting hand, that by purifying your consciousness slowly, you will come to that day someday. So don't be disappointed, and you continue chanting the holy name even if you are not able to follow the 4 regulative principles, right? The first big mistake a person does is, whenever one is not able to follow the vows, they stop doing the positive things, which means they stop chanting, they stop going to the temple, they stop attending the classes, they stop being in Vaishnava Sangha because of the guilt. Oh, I could not follow. Oh, I broke the principle. Oh, I fell down from the spiritual position. So that guilt overtakes them. It happens, and then they stop doing the right thing. And if they stop doing the right thing, there's no chance for them to become strong, right? So personally also, we should not stop doing the right things. And when we have to guide others, we also should not tell them that, now you have no hope. Nothing like that. The hope is always there to become situated at that position of following principles strictly. So if there is anything like that a person is not able to do, what Srila Prabhupada suggests for them? You see, he said, according to the Vedas, there is a certain regulation that if one falls down from his exalted position, he has to undergo certain ritualistic processes to purify himself. This is called prayaschitta, or atonement. But if here there is no such condition, because the purifying process is already there in the heart of the devotee, due to his remembering the Supreme Personality of Godhead constantly. So if a practicing devotee by mistake accidentally breaks some of the vows or one of the vows, if that person sincerely repents for it, is guilty about it, then that repentance will act as a fire to purify the heart, will burn the reactions of the wrong activity in the heart. And for this, you can study Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita thoroughly. There are many examples given there. How devotees, if accidentally they committed something wrong, they purified themselves by taking shelter of the process itself. Nothing extra to be done. So, but this point is very important. A devotee must feel the guilt of doing the wrong thing. If anyone is at that state of mind that I am doing wrong and I don't feel bad about it, then we should know that is a very, very dangerous situation. Then there is no hope for rectification. Not possible. So if we have done a mistake, there should be a sincere repentance. There should be a sincere prayer to the Lord. And that repentance will purify the heart. Also, the Lord forgives. And if there is no repentance, then the Lord does not forgive. Then there is no second chance or the third chance, right? So this is important. Therefore, the chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare should be continued without stoppage. Okay, so what are some appropriate ways of rectification? What can be done if some devotee comes to you and tells you that I could not follow this principle and I broke this principle. I was a drug addict before, and for 2 years I have been seriously avoiding taking drugs, but today I could not control. I went to the shop and I bought and then I consumed it. So, and then that person comes and confesses to you. So what will you tell that person? How to rectify the situation? I'm just giving an example, but any case, any situation. I could not chant my 16 rounds today because I was so busy, or I had fever, or I had headache, or I could not follow this principle. So how will you suggest, counsel that person? Yes, Kusumataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. We have to console them and tell them that you keep chanting sincerely and beg for the mercy from Lord to make you strong and not repeat it again.
Okay, fine, good. Pankaj Prabhu.
Prabhuji, we will tell him to continue.
Continue. And what else?
Yes, continue and get more engaged in the devotional activities like reading and understanding the concept behind it, attending lecture. The more activities will train mind more to be disciplined. Okay.
Santosh Prabhu.
Prabhuji, that devotee is coming and sharing because he feels that as per nectar of instruction, like Siddhartha Pratigamamurti, that we should give him protection, saying that we can take him in higher association and nourishment. Basically, that devotee needs nourishment too.
Nourishment.
That he can work. Yeah.
Okay. So fine. Mahamantra Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. If suppose if I see the condition that he has now reduced taking, suppose he was taking intoxication
solution, Prabhu. Yes.
So yeah, so I will consider it is a like progressive. It is a progressive, and human has tendency to make the mistakes. So I will request him that, are you feeling guilty that just like just now you told me that devotees should have the feelings to feel the guilt. So if I will encourage him. Okay, if you feel the guilt, then you can again start practicing, not to following the vows.
Okay, fine. Riddhi Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, should pray to the Lord that we've done something wrong to forgive us.
Yes, we should pray to the Lord. Okay. Yeah. Aruna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji, if someone has broken the vows, or suppose something like not done a chanting of 16 rounds, then we can say that okay, and he or she is feeling guilty, then we can say okay, you continue doing now, but do some austerity. Like, okay, I didn't do my 16 rounds, and tomorrow I'll start from tomorrow. So I've started from tomorrow, but yesterday I didn't do. So I'll do some austerity for the mistake which I have done or negligence on my part, so that will keep me in check.
Okay, good. Yes, fine. So basically we have to deal with situation differently depending on the person. Sometimes people are so nonchalant. They'll just come and tell you on face, I broke the vow, and they won't feel anything bad about it. So if a person is like that, then you have to make that person sit and understand that you did a serious mistake. First of all, that has to be told to that person, because if that person doesn't understand that, then there's no point in counseling that person. What counsel does that person need? So first of all, you have to tell that person, make that person understand the seriousness of the situation. That person maybe is taking the process of Krishna consciousness very cheaply or lightly, right? And if that person understands that, then you have to see if that person is really, really demotivated, discouraged, hopeless. So you have to give them that faith that you can come out of it, you can become better, you can overcome this problem, right? And then not just say, okay, pray to the Lord and Krishna will forgive. Give some practical solution to the problem. Ask in detail, what made you break the vow? What was the situation? What happened exactly? What mistake? Have you been doing it regularly, or it's just an accidental thing that happened? Right? So you try to understand the situation and then give a practical solution. Like, for example, if you ask a person, what made you take drugs? And if that person says, actually, you know what happened? For 2 years, I was not visiting this friend of mine, but today I visited that friend. And in that person's association, somehow that I got inspired. So then you have a practical solution to offer. Don't ever visit that friend again. Isn't it? Correct? So you have to give a solution also, not just pray to the Lord. Help means you make that person understand really where did he or she go wrong. So you provide a practical solution that do this, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, so that you are protected in future from such lapses, such falls. And fourth thing, you also give that person some punishment. Not just, okay, you just pray. That person has to be given some punishment. Punishment in what sense? If that person is, let's say, having a big managerial position in ISKCON, so what would in ISKCON administration do? For some period, take away all the position from that person. So that person understands, I did something wrong. Or put that person in a different department, send that person to a different temple, make that person do menial services like cleaning the toilet, brooming the floor, washing the pots. So that person then understands, okay, if I do a mistake, it comes at a cost. I have to pay a cost. So then we have to also tell that person to go through a process of reformation. If we don't go through that personally, or if we don't make people go through that, we should know one thing. Again, there will be some probability of doing the same mistake. So prayaschitta should be there, atonement. But for atonement, we don't suggest something which karma kandi brahmanas would suggest, that go to this holy place and give 10,000 rupees in donation, right? Or you donate 5 kilos of ghee, pure cow ghee, to the brahmana. That's atonement. We don't suggest that, but we suggest atonement in the form of the rigid and strict practice of some principles of Krishna consciousness. Like someone said, I could not follow this principle. So you tell, instead of chanting 16 rounds every day, now you chant 20 rounds every day. And if you don't complete those 20 rounds, don't eat anything. So like that, when that person is ready to pay for it, then that person will be careful of not doing the same mistake again in future. This has to be also told to that person. After all, we don't want that person to again and again do the same mistake and come to you and then you again and again say, don't worry, one day it will happen, one day it will happen. No, it won't happen like that. That person has to change his way of thinking. Okay, so the last slide of this thing, tug of war. This is tug of war. So don't be afraid of Maya. Simply enhance chanting and you'll be conqueror. That's all. Krishna says, Kaunteya patichanihi name bhaktaha pranashyati. You just declare, my devotee will never be vanquished by Maya. Maya cannot do anything. Simply you have to become strong. And what is that strength? Chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, loudly. Yes. Lecture Bhagavad Gita 3.6 to 10. Okay. So we stop here. On this lesson, I give you maybe, okay, we'll do the next lesson, 2 slides, then I'll give you a break. So the next lesson is, meanwhile, any questions on this lesson? What we just discussed now?
Prabhuji, if the devotee is not able to share a particular devotee, how can, what will be his issue?
A devotee is not in?
like he's not in a situation to share whatever the
not sharing with someone what is the problem, right? So in that case, if you know that devotee is in problem and still that devotee is not sharing, then you have to very diplomatically address the problem. You may have to do it indirectly. Like I'll tell you a true incident. Okay. Once I was visiting one place. I won't mention the name because then it would give signals to people. Whom am I talking about? So I was visiting one place. That person had invited us for a few days. I was with my friend, Brahmachari friend, and we were staying there. So this devotee was managing one center, one whole preaching center, just that devotee and a child of that devotee together were running the whole center. They had deities of Srinathji, not huge deities, but maybe this much big deities. And every day they would do Mangalarti, Guru Puja, dress the deities, also go out for preaching program, cook prasadam for the people whom we are preaching, give class, drive the car and make all the arrangements. So I noticed that this person doesn't really chant 16 rounds, and that devotee is an initiated disciple. How would that person chant 16? I asked my friend, we get up almost at the same time in the morning and we all go to bed at the same time. Whole day we are busy preaching. And you chant, I chant. When does this devotee chant? I don't see this devotee chanting. This devotee is either cooking or serving the deity or driving the car, going for program. Or if that devotee gets any time, that devotee starts talking. When do you chant? I asked my friend. So my friend said, I also don't see that person chanting. When takes the beat bag in hand, but then the time goes in so many other things. So I thought, now it's not going to be nice if I directly tell that person, because that person is hosting us in the house. And I go and ask that person that, my dear Prabhu or Mataji, are you not chanting 16 rounds daily? That person may feel offended also, isn't it? Maybe, who knows, he or she is chanting late at night in the room, locked up in the room, who knows? So one day what I did was, I was supposed to give a class and that devotee was supposed to translate into the local language. So while I was giving that class, I started talking about chanting and initiation vows. So then I told to the audience, but definitely aiming at that person, to the audience, that, when you take initiation, your spiritual master doesn't give you the instruction to worship the deity. Your spiritual master doesn't give you the instruction to open a temple. Your spiritual master doesn't give you the instruction to distribute books. Your spiritual master doesn't give instruction to do this and that. He gives only two primary instructions: chant 16 rounds daily without fail, follow the principles, right? So then I said, if you are initiated, then this is first and foremost thing to do. Rest should follow later. Right? And I emphasize, I hit on that point again and again and again and again. And because this devotee was supposed to translate my statements into that local language, he or she could not avoid listening that again and again, and I could see when I was hammering on that point, the face expression changed. And the devotee felt that guilt that I'm not doing it and I should be doing it. So later on, indirectly, when we were leaving that place and coming back, the devotee came and confessed to me and said, you are very intelligent. You told me something without actually, telling me directly. I thank you for that. So we have to help people. We cannot just say, because that person is not coming to me, let that person mess his or her life. That's not real well-wisher, then you are not a real well-wisher. If you know someone is in trouble, then you should find a way to help that person. That person may not be strong enough to share. It happens, sometimes people don't feel that if I share, maybe this person will tell everyone publicly, publicly announce it. So we have to then gain the confidence. And if you cannot, then you find ways how you can trick and convey the message, right? Okay. But we should always be eager to help. If we say we are part of the same family and we are Vaishnavas, we should be always eager to help, whether that person is asking for it or not asking for it. Right? Okay. So, okay, we'll take a break now. Give you a few minutes break, then we'll come back. Kirmay Mataji, I'll take your question after the break, please.
Okay, Prabhu. Okay.
Hare Krishna. So, short break. Welcome back. Just a small exercise I would request all of you to do. Go to page number 39 of your handbook, and there's a box there, solution to challenges. We did not discuss here challenges of you as an individual, but if you are having some challenges in following any of the principles, then from whatever discussion we had, jot down some points for yourself in that box. How are you going to help yourself follow the principles very strictly? Very strictly. So jot down it for yourself. All right. It can be anything. It can be one of the principles, drinking tea, drinking coffee, eating onion garlic, eating outside food, or it can be not chanting 16 rounds daily. So you write down the challenge that you are facing and solution you want to do for that. Okay. Take 1 more minute, 1-2 minutes more. Thank you, Mataji.
Prabhuji, I just wanted to ask you, you had asked in the MCQ test regarding that, which is true. There are many gurus and there is only one guru. So actually, while explaining, you are told that there are many gurus and there is only one guru tattva. Where am I wrong? I can't understand that concept actually still.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. So the answer is there's only one guru. That's Guru Tattva. Right? So when you say there are many gurus, it's just the vyavaharik or practical way of expressing it. That okay, there can be different personalities acting as different gurus, but in principle there is only one guru, which is Guru Tattva.
Guru
Tattva. Yeah. Pankaj Prabhu.
Thank you, Guruji.
Guruji, the exercise that you have given, I'm facing one problem and I don't know the solution. Actually, in the vows, only about the food. Food means I'm vegetarian, where family is vegetarian, we both are working. And onion, garlic, we are used to means cook. But okay, the solution is that I will now, today onward, will try to separate before the final cooking. But the outside food, because as we are both are working, so mostly, we have 2 kids and grown-up kids, so we sometimes do not get a time to cook at home. So we have to kind of force, or I don't know the solution, Prabhuji. I need some.
So you mean to say that you still have to consume outside food sometimes? Huh? Food at a restaurant or anything like that, or at the mess.
Yes,
so you see, that is definitely a problem, but I'll tell you about one devotee. He's working in Abu Dhabi. And he's single. He's not living there with his family. He's just all alone. His family lives in Mumbai. So this person is an aircraft manager and has a very, very hectic schedule and a very demanding job. So though he's alone, he still manages to cook for himself and take that food to the office. So what he does is that in the morning, instead of cooking 3 times a day, he cooks once and then eats that same food 3 times a day. So sometimes we may have to take such kind of such measures to strictly follow the principles. That sometimes you can tell the wife, I'm going to cook today. Sometimes the wife can say, I'm going to cook today. And in that way, help each other, assist each other. Or you buy stuff which you want to eat from outside, which is free from onion garlic. Like consume fruits, consume juices, consume stuff which is free. Or if I don't know the place where you live in your country, do you get Jain food? Jain food is free from onion garlic, right? So you can choose, you can find alternatives. Even if you buy something from the market, then buy that thing which is free from onion and garlic. If there is something like that, should be there. It's not that it won't be there. There might be some option. So look for it, you will find it. It's not impossible. Yes, Prabhu?
I'm trying, since many months, but actually, I don't know how to express it. It increases resistance in my family, means kind of, resistance is
from
there,
whom?
means, for my wife.
From your wife, okay. Yes. So then you can tell your wife, right, that you don't have to tell her to follow it fully. You just tell that it's for you that you want to do. Don't tell her to follow fully, right? So you just do it for yourself. Don't force her into it, and you do it for yourself. I think it should be possible. In due course of time, she may accept it, understand and accept it. All right, Prabhu, fine. Just like I can give you an example. Just like when people are on specific diets for health purpose, do people in the family not support? If your doctor prescribes you don't eat this, then will the family members fight with you? No, they won't. So then you explain to them in the same manner. All right? Explain to them in the same manner that this is a specific diet which I want to follow, but I don't want to force you into following this. Simple. So first you come to following it, and then later on you may also draw them in to follow the principle. Yeah. Kiranmay Mataji, you had a question.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanavad Pranam.
Prabhuji, you said you have to correct if someone is falling down. But in your case, you are a guru, so you can do it. But as a sadhaka, can we do it directly, or we should first consult our spiritual master and then direct?
It depends on your relationship with that person. As a friend also you can correct someone, as a parent also you can correct someone. It depends on what relationship you have with that person. You can't correct a stranger on the street. You need to have some relationship with that person, right? Then you can correct. So if it is possible, if it's within the limit of your relationship, then you should. Okay, so we now go to the next topic, Guru Puja. All of you must have experienced, if not physically, then online, virtually, the Guru Puja that is offered in ISKCON every day to Srila Prabhupada, right? We have Srila Prabhupada Murti, Vigraha in ISKCON temples, and every day we do Guru Puja. And the puja offered to the spiritual master, Prabhupada, is same as the puja offered to Krishna on the altar. Everything, all the same paraphernalia are offered. So when you see Guru Puja, some people may question this, and it is a valid question. Why are you worshipping a human? I mean, it's insane to offer a lamp and incense and flowers, or even to bow down, fall flat on the ground, and not just to a human being. So why do we worship the Guru? Let's say you are visiting airport and you see a sannyasi in the airport, and then you offer your pranams to the sannyasi in the airport. So people will all think you are crazy. Why you have to give so much of respect to one person? So why do we worship the Guru? What's the idea behind it? Is it a cult? Is it some sect? Is it like we are ignorant fools who have been somehow mesmerized by some person to offer so much respect? Anita Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So to get the Guru's grace.
Get the Guru's grace. So you mean to say just by offering the worship, the grace will come?
So we have to sincerely pray to the Guru and connect that association to guide to the right path.
That's fine. So pray, then why offer the worship? Just pray. Why do the external formality of offering the lamp and the incense and the flower and bowing down? Pray from the heart, connect through the heart. Why do the external worship?
Your servitude.
Servitude, okay. Let's take some other points also. Yes, Rakhi Mataji.
Prabhuji, Guru is as same as the Supreme Personality of Godhead because of that.
Yeah. So his position is very exalted. You mean to say?
Yeah, that's right. So we need to give him the same obeisance as we give to the Lord.
All right, fine, thank you. Santosh Prabhu.
Adding to that point, like in Acharya Vishwanath Thakur says that Sakshat Haritvena is as good as God.
As good as, same point, right? So as good as God, so worship him. All right, Padma Shai Murthy Prabhu.
To express our gratefulness and gratitude.
Okay, very good. Express our gratitude and gratefulness. Yes, good. Kusumataji.
Prabhuji is as good as the Supreme Lord, and he is the ambassador of the Lord.
Ambassador. Okay, same point. You have another point? The hands are up. Are you having some other point? Mahesh Chandra Prabhu. Yes, I'll come to you, Pankaj. Mahesh Chandra. Be a little loud, loud.
We feel that Krishna, Lord accept prayers through gurus, through their
Good
servant.
point. Okay, fine. So the Lord accepts the worship through the medium of spiritual master. Yes, Pankaj Prabhu.
Because of our past sins, so I'm not directly eligible to worship the Lord and get the mercy of the Lord. So we need a medium.
Okay. Aruna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. We offer worship to the Guru because he is a representative of God and he is most confidential servitor of the God.
Okay, fine. Because of that position. So let's hear from Srila Prabhupada. It's going to say, Sakshat Haritvena Samasta Shastra. Uktas Tatha Bhavayata Eva Satpi. The spiritual master is honored as much as the Supreme Lord because he is the most confidential servitor of the Lord. Then Aradhana Nam Sarvesham Vishnur Aradhanam Param Tasmat Parataram Devi Tadiya Nam Samarsanam. Lord Krishna is telling to Mother Durga in Padma Puran, of all kinds of worship, worship of Lord Vishnu is topmost. However, above the worship of Lord Vishnu is rendering of service to Vaishnavas who are related to Lord Vishnu. The point is basically, we will come to that. Just let's do one more exercise. What are the different ways we worship Srila Prabhupada? You must have observed this. So what are the different ways we offer our worship to Srila Prabhupada? Can you list them out? You might have done this yourself, or you must have observed devotees doing that. In what are the different ways we worship Srila Prabhupada? Right? Quick points, either you can put in the chat box or you can raise your hand to contribute. What are the different ways we worship Srila Prabhupada? Book distribution, oh well, that's a stretch actually. Come closer to the point. How do we worship Srila Prabhupada? Rakhi Mataji? When I talk about worship, we are talking about worship exactly.
Saying obeisance and following his instructions.
Very good. Offering obeisances is one way of worshipping. Yes. Mahesh Chandra Prabhu.
By celebrating Vyas Puja.
Very good. By celebrating Vyasa Puja. Renu Mataji.
We chant Prabhupada's Pranam Mantra.
Very good. You chant Prabhupada's Pranam Mantra. That's how you worship him. And some of you said offering flowers to Prabhupada. That's one way of worshiping him. Or doing Guru Puja daily and offering him Aarti on daily basis. That's called worshipping Srila Prabhupada, right? What else? What can be some other way of worshipping Srila Prabhupada? Taking him on a procession, taking him in procession around the temple, around the holy place. That is again one form of worshipping Srila Prabhupada. Any other point? How do you worship Srila Prabhupada? You use honorific titles, His Divine Grace, right? His Divine Grace. So we don't give that title to anyone and everyone. We keep it reserved for specific personality. So that is again a kind of worship, right? Honoring that person, worshipping that person. Santosh Prabhu.
Worshipping as the founder of ISKCON and also preeminent Shiksha Guru of all.
Okay, yeah. But how do you do it? How do we express that worship? So we discuss some practical points how we do it, right? These are the ways that we worship Srila Prabhupada. So one may say that why you do it. So here Prabhupada mentions. So this Guru Puja which we are doing, it is not self-aggrandizement. It is real teaching. You sing daily. What is that? Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chittete Aranat Karya Ekya. This is translation. I'll tell you frankly. Whatever little success is there in this Krishna consciousness movement, I simply believe what was spoken by my Guru Maharaj. You also continue to do that, then every success will come. So it's not self-aggrandizement. It's not that the spiritual master is very happy accepting that worship. The spiritual master accepts that and passes it on to Supreme Lord Shri Krishna. And why we offer it to spiritual master? Just to keep our gratitude alive. We need to understand this principle, and let me tell you something. This is going to help you a lot if you understand it. Don't just be grateful, learn to express your gratitude. It's important. People, they say, I am grateful, but don't just be grateful, express it. If you do that, relationship with people will get really, really better. Express it. And people say, yeah, I am very, very thankful. So why don't say thank you? Why don't express it? So when we say we do Guru Puja, we are expressing it, not just feeling that. We are expressing it. We are expressing it practically by doing something. That is very important. Otherwise, what happens? We may think we are sufficiently grateful, but that gratitude may fade in due course of time. So in order to keep it alive, it has to be expressed. That is the reason we do. Now, in the handbook, go to page number 42, there's a box there, list some of the benefits of regular Guru Puja. Regular Guru Puja, basically, if you are living in the temple or you visit temple daily, it is a daily event. We worship Srila Prabhupada daily, every day. But if you are living at house, then should one not do Guru Puja? Actually, one should do it daily. If not physically, one should do mentally offer respects to one's spiritual master. As a matter of practice, a devotee should offer pranams to one's Guru every day, wherever one is, even at your home. When you get up in the morning, the first thing you do is, before you get out of the bed, if possible, on the bed itself or on the floor next to the bed, you should offer obeisances, pranams to the spiritual master. Begin your day by offering pranams to Krishna, to Guru, to Vaishnavas. That's the training that we receive in Brahmachari Ashram. As soon as we get up, the first thing we do is we offer pranams. I have seen my grandparents, they would touch the earth and then put their hand on the head, offering pranams to earth, before putting the feet on earth from the bed. So like that, when you get up in the morning, first thing is that remember Krishna, remember spiritual master, offer pranams. And the last thing you do at night before going to rest is again offer pranams for the whole day, whatever you have done. Remember the Supreme Lord, remember the spiritual master, thank him, and then go to bed, go to rest. So this is one thing which everyone should be doing. And if you have a picture of spiritual master at home, picture of Srila Prabhupada, then offer pranams to it, right? Don't just have the photo hanging in the wall. No, go and offer pranams to it. At least fold your hands and express your gratitude to it. And if possible, offer some worship also. Simple worship. Worship need not be exaggerated. It can be just dhoop, only incense. If possible, then add lamp to it. If possible, then add flowers to it. If not, let it be just incense that you offer once a day, incense to the picture of spiritual master or Srila Prabhupada. It's very easy. I do that since 3-4 years. I travel a lot. I go to many places, even those places where there are no temples. So what I do is that I have a small altar with me. It's all made up of pictures. It doesn't have any deity. It is all pictures of Krishna, picture of spiritual master, picture of Govardhan, and I carry all with me wherever I go. Morning, evening, I offer worship to them. Incense, lamp, flower, some little bhoga, water. And it just takes 10 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes in the evening. That's all. Very simple. And it's not deity. When it's deity, then you have to really be careful about so many things, right? It's just pictures, easy to handle, easy to pack, easy to carry. So these are simple practices which one can do very easily, very, very easily. It doesn't take much space also. And in order to keep pictures, you need not have an altar. If you get some table space, just put the pictures on top of that, right? So this way one should do it daily. So you can mention now in the box some benefits of offering daily Guru Puja, regular Guru Puja, not once in a while. Yes, Atyusha Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, there are Guru Paramparas, 32 Guru Paramparas, no, Prabhu?
Yeah.
Why we will not do this offering or worship to them? Only the Srila Prabhupada we will do this offering, no, Prabhu?
We can offer to all of them. We can offer to all of them.
No, Prabhu, in altar, in temples,
Why? For
in
practical
ISKCON
reasons,
temple.
no. For practical reasons. It's just for practical reasons. If you can just imagine if there are going to be 32 deities in the altar. It's not going to be easy worshipping all of them. And we understand the principle that if you are offering worship to one member in the parampara, it goes to all. Isn't it? That is the medium through which you offer to all. So we have just kept the 5. It's practical. That's the only reason. It's not that we are against the other members in the parampara and we don't want to offer worship to them. We offer worship to them, and you can do that mentally anyways, right, Mataji?
Prabhu, only the Srila Prabhupada, not only Srila Prabhupada, we should offer all this to 32 members of Parampara.
I told you, no, for practical reasons, if you offer to one, there's nothing wrong about it.
Okay.
It will go to all because they are all connected and they don't have any competition amongst themselves. You know, that you did not offer to me, you offer to this person. That doesn't happen with them. They are all interconnected. They share. They share. It's a teamwork happening. So we offer to the one who is immediate connection of ours, and through that it goes to the root. That's the reason. Okay, Madhuji?
Okay, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Yes, Vijay Nayan.
Prabhuji, I have one doubt. So doubt is like, so in our puja room, it is like others, other demigods which is also like there actually. So we are just worshipping from the past actually like 4 or 5 years back. So after when coming into the Krishna consciousness, I was starting added the Krishna pictures and the Ishudamas pictures in the, I'm just worshipping him. So it is that fine to worship the Krishna along with the demigods, or we should worship separately? Along with the there is.
It's okay. It's okay. Actually, see, it depends on the situation at home, because not all are devotees of Krishna, so they may not accept it fully. So what we should do is that we should add pictures of Krishna and start worshipping. No problem. And then what can be done is, if they agree, you can have an altar with stairs. And then you can put pictures of Krishna, Jagannath, Gaunita at the top rung. And you can put the demigods at the lower rung. You know? So in that way, there is a very clear understanding that the demigods are servants of Krishna. Right? So then you continue to offer. So if you want to offer anything, you first offer it to Krishna and then pass that as prasadam to the demigods. Then the demigods are also happy. The process is not wrong. It's complete process. Right? Okay. This is what used to happen in traditional all Vishnu temples actually. If you go to all the Vishnu temples in South India, you'll find within the temple premise, there are small temples of demigods. You'll find that in almost all the Vishnu temples in South India. So what is the process? First, you offer the worship to Lord Vishnu, and then you carry the Mahaprasadam, and then you offer it to the other demigods. That is the general process. Fine.
Prabhu, one more question. So can we place the Srila Prabhupada on the top of the row, or how, Prabhu?
No, you can put Srila Prabhupada not at the top. You have to put Srila Prabhupada below Krishna.
Okay.
Below Krishna. So you can either put Srila Prabhupada on the same level as the demigods, or you can even put Srila Prabhupada above the demigods. No, nothing wrong about it. But you put him below Krishna. Okay? Yeah. Padma Shayamurti Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Mostly about the importance of the daily Guru Puja. So by that we will be able to maintain the position of Srila Prabhupada as a preeminent Shiksha Guru in ISKCON.
Okay, good. So here, when you say Guru Puja, it refers to Guru Puja to all. I mean, not just Prabhupada, it can be even one's own spiritual master as well, right? Offering daily Guru Puja. Fine. Okay, we'll go to the next slide. Next slide is Vyas Puja. Before we discuss Vyas Puja, this I request you to read on your own, page number 43, formal worship of ISKCON Gurus. There are 5 points there. Pranam mantras, offering Artik, Guru Puja, restricted titles, welcoming Vaishnavas. So this you can read, on your own. Fine. Page number 43, formal worship of ISKCON Gurus. Okay. There's nothing difficult to understand there. How do we express our worship? Like, washing the lotus feet of a Vaishnava, when a Vaishnava comes to our house or visits the temple. That is another form of worship. Like that, there are different things explained there. Then Vyas Puja. So Vyas Puja, I'm sure you must have heard about it. It's the appearance day, the birthday of spiritual master, and you offer Vyas Puja on that day because he's a representative of Srila Vyasadeva, giving knowledge. giving the path to Krishna. So Prabhupada mentions, herein lies the secret of Sri Vyas Puja. When we meditate on the transcendental pastimes of the absolute Godhead, we are proud to feel that we are his eternal servitors, and we become jubilant and dance with joy. All glory to my divine master, for it is he who has, out of his unceasing flow of mercy, stirred up within us such a movement of eternal existence. Let us bow down at his lotus feet. We offer respects to our spiritual master because we feel so grateful that we were in ignorance. We did not know about reality. There is something like spiritual world, or there is Lord Shri Krishna, and Krishna has such wonderful pastimes. And I have some hope that I can be a part of those pastimes. I can go back home, back to Godhead. But then the spiritual master makes us understand such a reality exists and gives us an opportunity to be a part of that reality. So out of that gratitude that I'm getting so much, though I may not be really deserving it and I did not know about it. So one feels so happy and grateful, so one offers worship. One expresses that gratitude. So that happens on the Vyas Puja day. It should happen every day, but Vyas Puja is a special occasion when you come together with your other family members, spiritual family members, and you celebrate that occasion. So on that occasion, you glorify the spiritual master, you offer services to the spiritual master, you make your promises more strong, stuff like that. Devotee of my devotee, Prabhupada explains. Krishna is telling to Arjuna from Adi Purana, Ye me bhakta janaha partha name bhaktascha te janaha mad bhaktanam cha ye bhaktas te me bhakta tamamataha. Those who are my direct devotees are actually not my devotees, but those who are the devotees of my servant are factually my devotees. So with that attitude, we worship the spiritual master, devotee of devotee. Worshipping the spiritual master, and in that way worshipping Shri Krishna. Okay. This lesson is over. Any questions on this? Before we go to the last lesson for today, Guru Seva. Any questions on this? Yes, Aruna Mataji. You have to unmute yourself, please.
Sorry, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I have one question. Like, if the prasadam is offered to us, which has been demigod's prasadam, but that prasadam is not offered to Krishna. It's like somebody who believes in demigods and gives us a prasadam, which is not been offered to Krishna. In that condition, what should be our conduct and what should we do in that situation?
You accept it, but don't eat it.
Okay.
You accept the prasad, and then you tell that person, I'll take it later. And then you give that to someone who is okay with eating demigod prasad. Or you give it to the cow. Right? So we don't dishonor, because anyway it is offered to a demigod. So it is something not impure, it is sacred in one sense. If it is proper, the ingredients are proper, and anyway someone is offering you something, we have to be grateful, we have to be respectful. That person doesn't really know that you don't eat this prasad, so you accept it, but then you don't consume it. You offer it to someone who is ready to consume it happily. Fine, no problem. The whole point is, when someone is offering to you something, gratitude is not just expressed by eating it only. Right? If you are thankful about it and respectful, that is also gratitude.
But Prabhuji, if suppose that someone is a very close family member and they offer us, and
whoever it may be,
then what if we can't? What if we are in a situation, stuck in a situation in which we have to consume it in front of them? Then what?
Well,
they expect us to consume.
I don't think that situation comes every day.
No.
That situation doesn't come every day, right? That situation would be sometime occasionally. So if it is happening once in a year, then it's fine. You just chant Hare Krishna and eat it. No problem.
Thank you.
Right? Okay. Fine, thank you. Milind Prabhu, you had your hand up. Is there something?
Yeah, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I have a question. So here, Lord Krishna says that those who are my direct devotees are actually not my devotees, but those who are the devotees of my servant are actually my devotees. But demigods are also the devotees and servants of the Lord, right?
There is a difference.
So we can always worship them considering that they are, sorry?
There's a difference. When Krishna is saying here devotees of my devotees, Krishna is referring to pure devotees of Krishna. Not all the demigods are pure devotees of Krishna.
Okay.
Krishna here is referring to pure devotees of Krishna. Demigods, most of them are mixed devotees of Krishna, not pure devotees of Krishna. Mixed devotees means they are devotees, they accept Krishna, but then they have their independent desires.
Okay.
So then that is not pure worship. When we should know one thing. If you are talking about Srila Prabhupada, you are talking about our Vaishnavacharyas, there's a big mistake which people do, thinking that these personalities are lower than the demigods. You should know one thing. These personalities like Srila Prabhupada, Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, the six Goswamis, they are way, way, way more exalted than many demigods. Their position is much, much, much higher. They are confidential associates of Krishna, right? Whom Krishna empowers to do special mission, special task, right? They are very exalted. They are not ordinary people. Just because they have come into our human society and they have acted amongst us, we may think these are okay. They are acharyas, they are gurus, but we should know their position is higher than many demigods. They can actually even become spiritual master of the demigods. They are so pure, so exalted. So we offer worship to them because of their very, very exalted position. Right? When you say demigod, demigod is only a material position. We never know that someone sitting here might also have been a demigod in some life. Right? It's just a material position. If someone has done sufficient punya karma, that person will get the position of a demigod. Will become a controller of material affairs. That's not a very elevated spiritual position. Fine. So here Krishna is talking about pure devotees. In the body of a pure devotee of Krishna, all the demigods reside. That's how they are very exalted, very exalted. Okay. Let's do next lesson. Guru Seva. So the verse Bhagavad Gita chapter 4, shloka number 34 says, Tad vidhi pranipadena pariprashnena sevaya upadikshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattva darshinaha. Three things one should do while approaching spiritual master. What is that? Inquire submissively, surrender, and do seva, service, right? Three things. So you have to do an exercise, page 46, open your handbook. And there are two columns there. How you can serve as an individual, the mission of ISKCON, and how you can serve your individual gurus. Now, when you talk about serving individual gurus, it can be your Siksha Guru, it can be your Diksha Guru. How you can serve them and how you can serve the mission of ISKCON. Put points, specific points there, practical points. And after you have done, you can start raising your hand and speaking it out, or you can even put it in the chat box. How to serve Guru, how to serve the mission of ISKCON. Are they the same or are they connected, interrelated? Hmm. Okay, we have got some response. Serving Guru by cooking and serving prasadam, by practicing one's own spiritual life and cultivating. Okay, that's a very general thing. Please be specific in your answers. Can you serve the Guru, spiritual master? Then serving ISKCON, serving the mission of ISKCON, accepting initiation, fulfilling 7 purposes of ISKCON, donating funds to ISKCON. Okay. Yes. Donating funds for book distribution, book printing. That's a mission of Srila Prabhupada ISKCON. Okay. Follow Guru's instructions seriously. Have full faith in Guru. You can serve the mission by distributing books and preach non-devotees. Serving Guru, chant 16 rounds, follow 4 regulative principles. By preaching, we can serve the mission. Okay. Okay. Well, fine. Encourage new devotees to join. Cooking and being exemplary. Telling friends and family about ISKCON. Follow his instructions. Yes, Mahesh Prabhu. Give 1 point for each. Following, serving ISKCON, serving Guru. Please unmute yourself. No, so many times I have to tell.
Prabhuji, there is no difference between serving a mission to ISKCON and serving to Guru, because any service to mission, ISKCON, is a service to Guru.
Yes, there is no difference as such, but still there is a difference. So how do you express that? Okay, I'll give you some points how the difference is. You see, serving Guru means like, okay, you meet your Guru, then you cook prasadam for him, or you wash his clothes, drive him to different places, manage his traveling, book his tickets, stuff like that. Become the Guru's secretary, raise funds for the Guru, right? Such kind of services, which is offered either to the physical body of the Guru or to the different projects of the Guru, right? And when you say serving mission of ISKCON, then it means you help in preaching, distributing books, like you said, prasadam distribution, offering donations to the temple, visiting the temple and offering some seva in the temple. That's how you serve the mission of ISKCON. Cleaning the temple, managerial services. So they two are definitely interconnected, but at the same time, they are not the same. One is happening towards the society, you're contributing towards the society, and the other is you're contributing to one particular person. Two different things. So there has to be a balance between both. I should have time to offer seva to my individual gurus, and I should also find time to offer seva to the society, ISKCON, to the mission ISKCON. Both should happen. There should be, efforts and time in both directions, right? Why it should be both? Why can't I just do one and say it's all interconnected? After all, the Guru also belongs to ISKCON. Why it has to be both? Giving an example, if you have a family of 4 people, by serving one person, you are doing your complete duty. No, right? It's one family, isn't it? So you can say, okay, I'll just take care of my child, and by that the husband will also be fine, and mother-in-law will also be fine, and father-in-law will also be fine, and the other children will also be fine. Is that really working? No. When you say I have to take care, then you have to take care of all. You have your individual responsibility towards each one of them, isn't it? Though it's the same family. Likewise, the spiritual master belongs to ISKCON. The spiritual master is a follower of Srila Prabhupada. The gurus are within ISKCON. but we have responsibilities towards them as well as to the whole society. And there has to be a balance towards both. There has to be efforts, inputs in both the directions. It has to be there, you know. So one has to understand this thing, that there are responsibilities at different levels, and one has to fulfill all the responsibilities in whatever way it is possible. Okay. So here Prabhupada mentions, you cannot pay. Just like if you purchase something, you must pay for it. Therefore, it is called sevaya. You cannot pay by returning the value which is taught by the spiritual master. That is not possible. Therefore, it is called sevaya. Dedicate your life for his service. You cannot pay. What you have got to pay to a spiritual master. Here, Prabhupada is mentioning that in return of what we are getting from Krishna and his pure devotees, we cannot pay anything. There is no value that can be paid to say, I have liquidated myself of the debt that I have for whatever I have received from Krishna and Guru. One can never pay monetarily, one can never pay materially for that. The only way one can pay back for receiving all the knowledge, all the mercy, all the compassion is you give yourself to the spiritual master. You give your body, your mind, your intelligence, and yourself. That's the only way you pay. So that payment is seva. Seva should be out of gratitude. I want to offer something back. And this is such an important principle. I got associated with ISKCON in 2008 when I was in my college. And since then, I've met so many people who have come to ISKCON, been in ISKCON, and even left ISKCON, gone back to their normal life. I've seriously noticed and found those people who come with the spirit of only taking and taking and taking and taking and taking, but they don't really try to give back. And when I say give back, it doesn't mean just giving back money, but feeling yourself a part of the society mission and contribute in whatever way, giving your time, giving your advice, helping people in whatever way. They don't stay. They are not able to stay. And the reason is that till the time you don't reciprocate or give back in whatever way is possible, the nourishment will not happen. The spiritual development will not happen. Because the process of love is the process of giving and taking. It's not just one way. It is both the ways. And when you say bhakti, bhakti is the process of love, which means it involves giving and taking, right? Not just be the receiver. You give also. And we don't give that out of pride that I'm giving so much, because what we receive is much more than what we can give. So we only contribute humbly, but we do that. Like the example is given, you go to the river Ganga, you take water from the Ganga and then you put it back into the Ganga out of gratitude. So this has to be done. I'll tell you an interesting account. Srila Prabhupada had a disciple. His name was His Grace Brahmanand Prabhu. Some of you must have seen his picture. One of the earliest disciples of Prabhupada, a tall and a heavy man who became the first president of ISKCON. He was president of ISKCON, New York. And Srila Prabhupada engaged this particular person in Krishna service in massive ways. He was the first to go to Japan. He was the first to go to Africa. He was the first to go to Pakistan. He was the first to go to many different countries and continents and start Krishna consciousness. So this person, he was working as an employee in some place before he met Prabhupada and joined the mission of Srila Prabhupada. When he joined, he gave $5,000 as a contribution to Srila Prabhupada. That's all he had. And he joined fully, became a temple resident devotee. So he put all the savings that he had in the hands of Prabhupada. $5,000, you can imagine, 50 years ago, $5,000 was a huge amount of money. And he gave it all to Prabhupada. After a few days, when Srila Prabhupada was distributing Srimad Bhagavatam books, which he had brought from India, he had brought first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam from India. There were 3 volumes to it, and he would then give it out at preaching programs, and he would charge $16 for those 3 books. So one day he did the program and he gave out these books. So Brahmanand Prabhu got the desire, I should also get a copy of mine. So he later on went to meet Srila Prabhupada in the room and said, Swamiji, can I have the books? So Prabhupada said, of course you can have, no problem. So he gave them those 3 books, right? The first canto, 3 volumes. Now Brahmanand Prabhu was thinking, because I have already given so much, Swamiji will give it to me for free. I have given him everything, $5,000, right? And here the book is for $16. So Swamiji will give it for free. So when he was taking the books away, Prabhupada said, $16, please. So at that time, he really got confused. He was thinking, what kind of person is he? I mean, I gave him $5,000. He can't give me just $16 worth book in return as a token of appreciation. I mean, even a normal materialistic person would do so, right? If someone is giving you $5,000, you can definitely give a gift, a return gift of $16 worth. So he was thinking, why is Swamiji so money-minded? He should not be. So he was thinking like that, but he didn't question Srila Prabhupada. He was just thinking like that. So he said, okay, Swamiji, I'll pay. I don't have now this money. I'll give to you later. So he went to a restaurant, took a job there as a waiter, worked there for a few days, collected $16, and then came and gave to Prabhupada, took the book. After years and years and years and years, means years of chanting and serving and things like that, one day he was doing japa and this incident came back in his mind, that whole episode, and he was thinking about it. And then he started now reflecting on that incident. But now he's a different person after years and years of chanting and studying the scriptures. Now he's more knowledgeable, more mature in Krishna consciousness. So he was thinking, how can my spiritual master, who is so pure in heart, be money-minded that he asked me for $16? There has to be something deeper in it than just the money, than just the money. So then he realized, I actually was at fault. Because I was thinking, by giving those $5,000, I have purchased my guru. So now my guru is bound to give me whatever I want in return. And that was my mistake. I thought that I can pay back for what I have received. But I realized, what to speak of $5,000, even if I give $5 million, I cannot pay back for what I have received from Srila Prabhupada. Can you pay back? Like someone says, give me $5 million and then I'm taking you back to God. Is that sufficient amount of fee? No, it's not, right? So then he realized that it was my wrong thinking. And Prabhupada wanted me to check that. That's why he asked for those $16. Otherwise, what is $16 for him? I mean, it's nothing. Right? But to teach me the right attitude, I can never pay back for what I have received from Krishna or Guru. He wanted me to pass through this lesson. So that's the point here. We cannot pay back. But that doesn't mean we don't put efforts in paying back. Whatever we can, we should, out of gratitude. That's called seva. That's the principle of Guru seva. You offer in return. So we discuss this, spread the message. So what seva we can offer to Srila Prabhupada, to his mission? Someone can kindly read.
The devotees of the Lord Chaitanya must preach Krishna consciousness in every village and town in the world. That will satisfy the Lord. This order comes down through the Parampara system. And the spiritual master presents these orders to the disciples so that he can spread the message of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It is the duty of every disciple to carry out the order of the bona fide spiritual master and spread Lord Chaitanya's message all over the world. 2.2.20.
So this is how you can contribute to the mission of ISKCON, that you help in preaching. You see, help in preaching can be done in many ways. Either you directly become a preacher, or if you cannot become a preacher, then you assist those who are preaching. by giving monetary assistance or by giving some contribution in terms of some seva, right? Calling out people for programs, distributing leaflets, doing some managerial activities. So if you cannot preach directly, you assist those who are preaching. That is also preaching. So you help in the preaching movement of ISKCON. Any small thing like, okay, there's a program happening, 50 people have to be invited. So ask the list of the contact members. Let me call them for the program. You may not be the one who's giving the lecture, but you can definitely do the calling seva. So in this way, every devotee, every member of ISKCON should contribute in whatever ways, even if it's small, to the preaching mission, connecting new people to the society. Very simple. It can be a very small role also, but it should be there. A small role, right? And then Prabhupada mentions about that here. He says, someone else can read. Real association with the Guru.
Real association. You write that you have desire to avail of my association again, but why do you forget that you are always in association with me? When you are helping my missionary activities, I'm always thinking of you and you are always thinking of me. That is real association. Letter to Govinda, Los Angeles, August 17, 1969.
So Shilpa is saying here, as long as you are working to help me, you are always with me. As long as you're working to serve me, you're always with me. That's how spiritual life works. You need not be physically close to someone to associate with that person, actually. If you are working hand in hand for the same purpose, you are with that person. You are connected. You are together. You are in the same team. Not you have to be physically close. That's not association, because Prabhupada used to give an example. A fly or a mosquito may sit on the lap of the king and then bite the king. Physically is very close, but only creating trouble, right? Isn't it? So one has to be connected in spirit, in purpose, in mission. Then you are together. Next, last exercise for today. In our life, we have so many obligations. As a parent, as a child, as a husband or wife, as a friend, as an employee. And then we have obligations towards the Guru, spiritual master. We have obligations to the spiritual organization, society, ISKCON. So how do we create the balance, in fulfilling all the obligations? We cannot give up on one obligation and just do the other one. We have to take care of all. So how do you do that? So instead of doing a group work, because that will take a lot of time, I give you as an individual exercise. You go to page number 47, and in the handbook, there's a box there. So you put there your own obligations, the different obligations you have as a person, and then how you are going to find a balanced approach in fulfilling all the obligations. Put there every single thing. Let's say you're a mother, or you're a wife, you're a husband, you're a father, you're a brother, you're a sister, you're a teacher, you're a student, you're a child, you are an employee, you are living in a residential society, and you're a member of the committee there, anything. And then you are a devotee, you are an ISKCON member, you're a disciple. So your different obligations, and how you're going to do justification to all of them. How can you do that? It's very important to find a balance between them. If you don't, it's going to lead to trouble. Like, to give an example, if a girl is married to a person who is not a devotee, and but this girl is, let's say, initiated, so then this girl cannot think, now let me just serve my spiritual master and let my husband go to hell. I don't care about my husband. No, that would be a very inappropriate approach. So one has to find time to serve the spiritual master and also serve the husband, and serve the children, and serve the family. That has to be done. As a balanced approach has to be taken. Not that I neglect some aspects and then I overdo some other aspects. No, there has to be balance towards this. And this is not against surrender to Krishna or Guru. It is a more wholesome approach, and that is appreciated by Krishna also and by Guru also. Maybe for this exercise you may take more time. You can do some of this exercise later on also with more time in your hand, and implement them actually in your life. Very good. Yes. So you should make schedule, you should prioritize, you should make a timetable. I'm going to give 2 hours to this person, 3 hours to that person, half an hour to this person. In this way, I'm going to keep a balance and not just focus on one thing, neglecting the others. If you do that, what happens is then what you neglect is going to fire back in future and create a problem, right? What you neglect now will create a trouble in future. And that trouble may become so severe trouble that it may become a big obstacle in practice of Krishna consciousness. So, like, I'll give you an example, a very practical example. This happens with many devotees. Sometimes devotees, they, in the name of being Krishna conscious, start behaving irresponsibly in their work areas, in their professional life, giving lame excuses, missing on important projects, not committing to the deadlines, and being irresponsible. And what happens in long run is that then they have to either lose the job because they did not perform well as was expected. And then it becomes a big trouble. Why? Because now if you don't have the job, then where are you going to get your money from? And if you don't get money, then how are you going to take care of your family members? And then that person becomes depressed. And then person, if it's not very sincere and honest, that person will start thinking, this is all what I am getting for being a devotee of Krishna? I gave so much of time and energy to Krishna and Krishna took away my job. Better I don't be a devotee. So because of one's own stupidity and foolishness, then one comes to the juncture that one may have to leave Krishna consciousness, right? So one has to be very balanced, looking at all the possibilities and looking at all the possible outcomes of what decisions we make, and being careful of giving sufficient time, required time to all our responsibilities and roles. If we have taken a role and responsibility, then be committed to it. And if you are really transcendental, then don't get into a role or responsibility at all. Isn't it? If you are getting into it, then be committed to it. Be honest about it. So one has to do this very well. Prabhupada mentions, remember this always. The spiritual master is present wherever his sincere disciple is trying to serve his instructions. This is possible by the mercy of Krishna. In your attempts to serve me and in all your sincere devotional sentiments, I am with you as my Guru Maharaj is with me. Remember this always. So, serving the spiritual master is a very broad concept. And I'll give you one example and I'll stop with that. There was one lady, she joined the ISKCON movement as a young woman. She was not married, so she had no responsibilities, living in the temple. So every day she would go out on streets in the Western country and distribute Prabhupada books. And she would do it for 6 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours in one day. Became a very popular book distributor, distributing 100, 200, 300 books daily, So then the reports would be sent to Srila Prabhupada that today so and so devotee distributed this many books, this many books, this many books. And this lady's name would come top in the list. So she felt very, very happy that my spiritual master would notice my name at the top. I am working so hard. I am contributing so much towards his mission. I am doing such nice seva. He'll bless me. He'll be very happy with me. And of course, Prabhupada acknowledged that. He appreciated that. After some years, she got married. Now she has a husband. Then after 1 or 2 years, she had a baby. Now she has a baby, so she cannot go out on book distribution. Right? Now she has to stay home, take care of the baby. So at that point, she writes a letter to Srila Prabhupada. I now cannot go out on book distribution and I feel very sad about it. I feel frustrated. I feel, why did I get married? I feel, why did I have a baby? Because now I am not able to do that save of going out, distributing so many books and making you happy. So at that point, what did Srila Prabhupada say to her? Okay, drop your baby. No, he said, serving your baby is also serving your spiritual master. Why? Because that baby has been given to you by whom? By Krishna. Isn't it? One soul who is a part and parcel of Krishna has come to your house as your baby. Right? So you take care of that baby, looking that as Krishna's part and parcel. That is also service to Krishna. That is also service to your spiritual master. If you take good care of that baby and that baby becomes a devotee, is that not service to Krishna? Right? You're going out on the street, distributing books to people to make that person a devotee. Now Krishna is giving you a baby. Why don't make that baby a devotee? It's the same thing. It's the same thing. So an immature approach would be, okay, give up this role and responsibility of taking care of babies and go out, take care of grown-up people by distributing books to them. But a mature understanding would be that here I have a new role and responsibility, and let me take care of this in Krishna consciousness. So in this way, when we maturely deal with situations, understand our different roles and responsibilities, give out time for them, then the number of problems or difficulties one may face will become less. And Krishna consciousness will become a smooth process. By understanding that by the right attitude and spirit, we can connect everything to Krishna's seva and practice Krishna consciousness. So Prabhupada told her that you take care of baby, that is service to Krishna. And meanwhile, if you get some time, when the baby is sleeping, if you get some time, then maybe for half an hour, go out, meet some people, tell them about Krishna and come back. Right? You may not be able to do it 10 hours. You can do it half an hour, or you can do once in a week. So in that way. All right. So we'll stop here. Any questions? Last few questions, 1 or 2. We have completed 9 lessons. And tomorrow you'll get the quiz, the second quiz, based on these 2 days which we had yesterday and today. So you solve that quiz. And the final exam, which will be there for you, the written exam, will be on 17th of July, Sunday. Okay. I'll be sharing the timings. It will be mostly the same timing as the class timing. So that will be a 1-hour exam. 1-hour exam, written exam, 17th July. All should be present live on Zoom. Yeah.
Prabhuji, one question regarding exam. Prabhuji, 1 hour question, 1 hour time will be there, and how many questions will be? And from these 20 questions.
Okay, how many questions that I won't tell, but one hour exam time will be the written exam time will be there, and questions will be from the handbook. We have already explained this before. In the handbook, look at page number 8 and 9. So whatever is given there in 8 and 9, questions will come from there.
Yeah, it is a descriptive type, so it will take time.
Yes, descriptive type.
It will take time. So
1 hour is being given.
Sufficient.
No, not 1 minute. 1 hour is being given.
Okay.
right?
Okay,
We will
Prabhuji.
not give you a 10-hour paper to solve in 1 hour, Prabhuji. We'll give you a 1 hour paper to solve in 1 hour.
Okay, Prabhuji. Okay, Hare Krishna.
And of course, if you take 5 minutes extra, I'm not going to tell you that you cannot do that. You can take 5-10 minutes extra. Pankaj Prabhu?
The quiz you will send tomorrow, just give 2 days for the revision, sir, for 2 classes.
Yeah, you can take, you can solve the quiz by Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah, okay, because 2 classes take 2 days, so maybe tomorrow or day after tomorrow. So after
You
that,
don't have to attend the quiz tomorrow itself. You can take 2 days time, 3 days time.
Okay, Prabhu.
All right. Hare Krishna. See you on next Saturday. Shri Prabhupada ki jai.